The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans. It is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. The Ride Home Rants podcast wants to thank you for listening and let everybody know that we do offer monthly subscriptions to help support the show in other ways other than listening and downloading each episode. What you will get with each subscription is you will get bonus episodes that aren't released to everybody. You will also have a chance to ask me anything each and every month where I will put out a special episode just to answer your questions. You will also get more exclusive content that is not released to everybody. To subscribe to the show, go and click on the link in the description of this episode, and I look forward to your added support and to help us keep this show going. The Ride Home Rants podcast is also brought to you by Buddy's Beard Care. Buddy's Beard Care provides premium men's grooming products at an affordable price. Products are made in Ohio, and Buddy's Beard Care supports local. The majority of our supplies are from other Ohio-based companies. You can find them on social media at Buddy's Beard Care or online at buddysbeardcare.com. Use the promo code BONO15 and he will save you 15%. I've been using these products for a little over 6 months now, and my beard has never felt healthier. It has never grown faster, and according to my wife, it has never felt softer. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by former guest of the show in Matt Landowski in Sweet Hands Sports. Elevate their game with Sweet Hands Sports. Our sports gloves are designed for champions, providing ultimate grip and durability. Achieve greatness with every match. Choose Sweet Hands Sports for the winning edge. Grip your victory at sweethandsports.com. Use the promo code BONO10 and he will save you 10%. He has sent me a complimentary pair of golf gloves. They are so comfortable, durable, and breathable. You won't find a better pair of gloves out there. Again, sweethandsports.com, promo code BONO10. Lastly, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Deemed Fit, a clothing company from first responders for first responders. These products are so comfortable. They look great. They have great messages on them. They are provided to support first responders, especially those who worked through COVID. All of the proceeds are going to helping veterans and first responders with their mental and physical health. This is a great cause. I support anything that has to do with our first responders and our veterans. Again, deemedfit.co, promo code Mike Bono will save you 20%. Now, let's start the show.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is your special guest host, Fiddy, and today we bring you an excellent roundtable and some very, very special guests, all coming back to talk all things TV shows. Before we get started into the show, make sure you peep all the sponsors in the pre-roll and the post-roll. A lot of them are small business owners. They're great supporters of the show, and make sure you're checking them out, taking a couple minutes out of your day when you're scrolling through social media to see what they have going on. So a lot of great sponsors, from clothing to golf to beards. So a lot of cool things that we have with those sponsors. The sponsors are the ones that make this show go. And of course, our great roundtable of guests contributing to the show make the show go round. So without further ado, we're going to talk all things TV shows today. Another roundtable. It should be interesting when we go through this. We're looking forward to everyone's answers here for the topics and the questions we're going to go. So I'm going to let the guys introduce themselves. Guys, you're going to say your name, what car do you currently drive, and then is Monopoly or Scrabble a better game? So we're going to start with probably the most well-known guest that's been on our roundtables, Mister. Take it away.
Mr. Ash 2, aka the Vampire Coach, as everybody know me. Got a 2006 Porsche Cayenne, still driving hard, 242,000 miles, and still counting. And Monopoly is most definitely the game of the night, man. Give me Monopoly.
Okay, I respect it. 242,000 miles. That's awesome. So the GOAT, Mike, you're up next.
Hello, Mike Worrell here. I still drive my 2013 Impala, Chevy Impala. Fiddy, you've seen that car probably before, parked at the Gresham Inn Hotel. Only 115,000 miles on it. I'll drive it till the wheels fall off. And I'll agree with Mister. I'll go with Monopoly.
Okay. Dave?
Yeah, so my name's Dave Frank, and I drive a 2016 Ford F-150 in perhaps the least surprising automobile for a high school offensive line coach. It just rolled over 100,000 miles on my Canadian fishing trip last week, and so it's time to turn it in. I'm going to upgrade to a new 2024 F-150 this week.
Okay, and is Monopoly or Scrabble better board game?
Yeah, so I actually don't like either of those questions. I prefer the game of life. I think it's a way better move.
Okay. Well, I will throw this out there before we go to our next guest. I actually do have the Family Guy version of Life. I got that in college many years ago now, probably 17, 18 years ago. It's a great game, especially if you ever get a chance to play it. It's very comical. So, Rusty, we're going to go to you next.
Hey, my name is Rusty Bliss. I'm driving a 2024 Kia Sportage. I need the SUV room to haul all the softball crap around, at least for a couple more years. Board game, Scrabble. Opens up doors for a little more creativity than Monopoly does, but you could go either way with it.
Okay. Alexander.
Hey, name's Alexander. I'm driving a Toyota CHR 2022. Ready to trade it in, looking to get my first pickup truck, thinking about going mid-size, thinking about either Tacoma or Colorado. So not sure, still thinking about that. As far as board games go, I'm going with Monopoly because I can't spell worth a damn. I hate it. So Scrabble is out, Monopoly is in 100%.
Okay. And probably that's why you're a 2-time graduate in psychology and not English, right?
Good one. Right. Exactly.
We come with the good one-liners here on the Ride Home Ranch show. We got to keep it a little bit loose for everyone. And then Chris.
Hey, all. It's Christopher Marsco. Drive a 2016 Chevy Silverado with dents and scratches and rust and the whole 9 yards, but it's paid off. So we're going to ride that until the wheels fall off. We got another 150,000 in store. So I'll be around a little bit. And then I'm a little bit of a nerd. So I could do a number in Scrabble. That's kind of my secret, my secret game. If they're beating me and everything else, I just pull out Scrabble and then it's on.
Okay. I drive a 2024 Chevy Trax. I actually had to trade in my Corolla a couple years ago. First car I ever had in 2010. Got it after I graduated and drove it to 2023. Had that thing rebuilt. Love that Corolla. Had to trade it in. Was dealing with some issues with the exhaust and stuff like that. So, but I love that car. Had about 240,000 miles on it. Really loved it. It was with me like 36% of my life or something like that. So there's definitely some meaning behind that with the car, and it's definitely like a sentimental thing. I don't like Monopoly. I think it's too hard. I think it takes forever to play. But give me a game of Scrabble. Let me get a cup of coffee, and I'll bang out playing at like 8:30 at night, just sipping away and trying to get some triple letter words there. So, but we're not here to talk about board games. Although Mike, this could be a good one for the future. We could do a board game roundtable. It could be a lot of fun. So, but we're going to go into the show here. So we're going to go Mr., Mike, Dave, Rusty, Alexander, and Chris with the answers. So first one, we're going to kind of throw it off right off the bat. What is your favorite TV show of all time? Mister?
Favorite TV show of all time? Holy cow. Man, that's a you know what? That's an excellent question right there, big dog. Because I really don't watch too many TV shows, man. But if I had, I'll tell you what though. But if I had to pick one, one that's coming to my mind, man, some of the old ones from the 1980s, man, the 80s and 90s, man, like Different World, man, Different World, Different Strokes. Uh, that whole little area, man, loved it, man. The Bill Cosby Show, man. All them shows from back then, man. Love them.
Okay. How about you, Mike?
Hands down for me, it's a second, but my all time is the Andy Griffith Show, followed closely by Happy Days, and with Ron Howard in both those shows. And two of the greatest TV shows of all time, Ronnie Howard, one of the.
Okay, Dave, what about you?
Well, I think it's kind of a complicated question. And by the way, your board game podcast is, I think, a little bit of a risk.
That was a good one.
I love that game.
So I think the show that I watch more frequently than anything else is Jeopardy. But if we're pulling for greatest show of all time, for me, it's a combination. It's either Rescue Me was on FX with Dennis Leary, or The Sopranos. Man, I think it's really hard to beat.
Okay, how about you, Rusty?
Let's date myself. Let's go back to the 70s. I like, Mister said I don't really watch a lot of TV, but let's go back to the 70s when we were trapped in that childhood thing of watching it, and it's going to be Happy Days was a good one that sparked a few memories, but let's go to the primetime stuff. Maybe Chips.
Oh,
John and Ponch got into some shit that the Highway Patrol don't even mess with anymore. So any way to turn some, and as the show went on and on and on, the storylines got crazier. But yeah, the OG, couple of those episodes back in the 70s, those seasons, that was good primetime stuff for a kid to watch.
Okay. How about you, Alexander?
Let's see. I'm gonna probably go with. No, it's gonna be a random one, but for me, I can just sit down and watch it anytime it's on television. If I'm at background noise, but I'm gonna go with Everybody Knows Raymond.
Okay.
I mean, it's just
Hilarious show.
it just got that. Yeah, it's got that hilarious feel. It's just the way how Robert looks. When Raymond says something silly about him and talks about him, he just has that stone face look, like I just want to beat you up or whatever, and it catches me off guard every time. But Everybody Loves Raymond probably be my top show.
Okay, and how about you, Marsco?
It brought up a good point. If we're counting Sopranos, he's an Italian. It's got to be Sopranos. I didn't have Sopranos on my list. I was thinking more, weeknight TV. I'm a big Seinfeld guy. Little cliche, but I find the humor dry sometimes, funny nonetheless. And growing up, I really liked Looney Tunes. Waking up on a weekend morning watching Looney Tunes, and they don't really make anything like that anymore. You can't blow people up anymore, or, shoot their head, their bill spins around. So that's kind of cool in a timeless way too.
True. Okay.
Hey, Fiddy.
Mine is. Go ahead, Mister.
No, I was gonna say one more, if I can say that I can watch time and time, is freaking Miami Vice. That's probably my all-time. Miami Vice.
The best dressed guy ever, Don Johnson. He was a trendsetter with the apparel. That's a good one. I would probably say Miami Vice is up there for me. And this brings me back to like the nostalgia of like the early 90s and being like 5 and 6 years old and watching it. I'd probably say the Dinosaurs. Jim Henson did it. People may not remember it, but that's like a nostalgic thing for me. But I love the Dinosaurs. Not the Mama.
Not the mama.
And
Yep.
people that don't know, Elmo did Baby Sinclair's voice. The same guy that did Elmo's did Baby Sinclair. So really, really love that. So yeah, the dinosaurs for me. So we're gonna go back to Mister on this. And just really, this is just yes or no. But if you want to elaborate, you can. Do you like the show Jeopardy?
Yeah. Yeah, I do, man. I like to it make you think, keep you on your P's and Q's, man. So I do, yeah.
How about you, Mike?
No, I can't
Okay.
say. I'm not saying I hate it. My wife watches it every night, but I don't have to. I go to another room, but so I'll just say no.
Okay. Dave kind of brought this up already, but Dave, do you like Jeopardy or how much do you love Jeopardy? You're on mute, Dave.
It's a bucket list item for me to be on Jeopardy someday. I'm super excited about it. In fact, one of the little known facts besides drinking copious amounts of beer, our coaching staff is phenomenally well versed in Jeopardy. We come up with a drinking game of Jeopardy. You get one right, you get to give out a drink. You get one wrong, you have to take a drink. And yeah, it's a little stimulation in the knowledge for something off the gridiron.
Okay. How about you,
yeah.
Rusty?
What were we talking about before my daughter got me?
Jeopardy. Do you like the show?
Love
Jeopardy?
it. Oh yeah, Jeopardy's awesome. And I got a family story to go to with Jeopardy. So anybody familiar with Ohio University?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Okay. The communications and broadcasting school is named after my great uncle Archie Greer, who was one of the original writers of the original Jeopardy. And he taught guys like, I don't know if the Ohio guys remember Dale Solly from Channel 8, who passed away when he was working for a news station in Washington, D.C. Joe Tate was a student of Uncle Archie's and worked with him later on back in the day. Everybody loves Joe Tate. But yeah, Jeopardy, the original one, of course, I never saw it. I'm not that old. But as as it made its way through the 80s and the 90s with Alex Trebek, it was great. It got a little bit watered down later on, but it had a hell of a run, and it's still going no matter who they put in that spot. But yeah, I like it. I mean, it got comical sometimes too, but it was a good show.
Okay. How about you, Alexander?
I like it. I especially like it when the college students are on there, just to see, how they be picking their brains and they just know so much at a young age. So definitely love like the special editions, when Jeopardy airs.
Okay. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier I'm a little bit of a nerd. That gives me an opportunity with whoever I'm in the room with to show off a little bit, kind of show how well versed I am in things. My bubby, when I was over my grandma's house growing up, it was always on the television, and I learned to love it growing up. And I don't know, I find great value in watching. I feel like it helps keep me sharp.
Okay. I love Jeopardy. I was a huge fan and still am though of Alex Trebek, rest in peace. I actually read his autobiography as well before he died that he wrote. So I really, really love that. And fun fact people don't know, the guy that says this is Jeopardy, the Johnny, whatever his name is, but he's like 97 years old and he still works doing that. So there's a little fun fact about that. But I really liked Alex Trebek. I don't know if the Jeopardy fans remember this or not, but after he was diagnosed with cancer, he was on the show or hosting the show, of course. And one of the contestants for the final round for Final Jeopardy, instead of writing the answer, he wrote, "We love you, Alex," on that. And
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Alex Trebek got a little emotional on the screen. So if no one's ever seen that, I would highly encourage you to YouTube that. I think it was a very sincere gesture. So rest in peace, Alex Trebek. We always will love you for Jeopardy. So going back to Mister on this one, and I'm kind of curious because this is a newer show. It actually wasn't on cable. Of course, it was on Paramount and then went to CBS a little bit later. But did you watch the show Yellowstone with Kevin Costner when it was on?
Nah, I never watched it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
I watched a few episodes. My wife loves it, and some of my friends, but I just haven't watched the full series to even have much of an opinion. A couple of episodes I watched I like, but that's about it.
Okay. How about you, Dave?
I'm with Mike. It's sitting in my queue. I've seen a couple episodes, and in theory, I think I should like it. I'm a pretty basic suburban white dad. So, I mean, I'll get to it eventually. We need another
Okay.
COVID so I get caught up.
Okay, Rusty?
Just haven't had time. I mean,
Okay.
between work and the kids and sports, I have not had time to watch really anything.
Okay, Alexander?
I've heard about it. My friends say it's good, but I just haven't got a chance to take a look at it. But it's definitely on my watch list.
Okay, Chris?
Know nothing about it. Does it take place in Yellowstone Park?
So I'm a huge fan of
That'd be
Yellowstone.
my best guess. I have no clue.
Yeah, so it was Kevin Costner was the largest landowner in the show, and his property butted up with Yellowstone, but he owned it was something crazy, like 30,000 acres or something like that. He was a cattle rancher, but he had 4 kids in it, and they tried to control the ranch, and there was a lot of conflicts. And just think of like The Godfather, but on a ranch. And that's like the best way I can describe the show. And it had 2 spinoffs of that. Especially the one I want to bring up is 1883. Tim McGraw was in that with his wife Faith Hill. It was really outstanding. It really tied into that. And then 1922 was another prequel to that that just finished. So if nobody's had a chance to watch Yellowstone, it is great. The acting is phenomenal. Kevin Costner played a really, really great part in that. But that's definitely would say it's like The Godfather, but being on a ranch. There was definitely some cutthroat people out there. So if you like people getting beaten up and shady deals and all types of crazy stuff, Yellowstone's the way you want to go. So the next one I want to ask, and I'm kind of curious to hear everybody's answers on this, but what is the most overrated TV show that you can remember? So what is that one that you just thought personally was overrated? Now I'll let everybody think about this and I'll start it. And I'm going to say, and we'll get into this later because this is a topic, but I'm going to say it was the Jersey Shore. I think that was the worst, most overrated TV show ever to hit MTV. So, Mister, what is the most overrated TV show in your opinion?
Probably 90210, man.
Oh boy. Oh boy. How about you, Mike? Mike, you're on mute.
I'm not sure. Overrated. So you're asking like, was a show lauded as being tremendous?
Whatever you want to say, the show that was on it was lauded as being great. Whatever you think. I mean, what TV show kind of stands out that you thought was
I
over?
know this show is regarded as one of the greatest ever, but growing up, I'm older than most people on this panel, but um, a lot of guys and people my buddies watch MASH, and I could never get into it. I love the MASH the movie, but I just could never get into the.
Okay. How about you, Dave?
To go along with Mike, like the one that I'm supposed to like and I'm supposed to think is just awesome all the time. Gosh, I think it's funny, but The Office, I don't see it as. I think that there's other shows that are its peers that are just as funny or funnier, and people just go nuts for The Office.
Okay. How about you, Rusty? What are you saying?
The Office is so bad that it's what you get to watch for free on airlines now. It's running on the loop. No, TV back in the 70s and 80s wasn't too bad. They didn't hype a whole lot of stuff up. It kind of was more organic. It caught on, had its built-in cult followings. But some of the newer stuff, like people used to say Friends was overrated. Friends was funny. And for me, traveling so much when I was trapped in hotel rooms, I was kind of stuck watching this crap. Big Bang Theory was one that was really overrated. It was,
Okay.
I mean, if you really sit down and watched it, it was pretty stupid. but I mean, all the hype behind it. I mean, okay, I understand you got to push it and promote it, but man, it was stupid.
Okay.
It was a mess.
Alexander, what are you saying?
Probably say the Kardashians. And like I didn't watch it, but it's like you just read and hear so much about it and just advertise it, but like I don't care. I don't care about, her, the family, not to be mean, but I'm just like, wow, like why do I know so much about it? I've never watched the episode. Like I just don't care for it. So that's overrated to me.
Okay. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, Fiddy, you took mine. Jersey Shore was right around when I was in high school, and Spirit Weeks for homecoming were Thursday, Thursday, and all that jazz. And I couldn't, it was poking a little too much fun at Italian Americans for me, made us seem all like a bunch of bozos. So I was not too keen on the Jersey Shore.
Okay. Now, this next question, I'm really curious to hear because some of us would have been kids growing up watching it. Some of us would have been maybe too young, Chris. Some of us definitely just don't like the show, as Mr. Initiated the conversation about it. But Beverly Hills 90210 is lauded as a show that was trend setting for its time. It talked about dealing with HIV and AIDS. It talked about alcoholism. It talked about drug abuse. It talked about teen pregnancy. It talked about a lot of different things, sports. It talked about how life intertwines with a lot of everyday stuff. So, in your opinion, was Beverly Hills 90210 a trend setting show? I'm going to say yes. And I really did like that show a lot. But, Mister, what are you saying?
You made some good points with that because it did do that. When you go back to that whole little era with the Beverly Hills 90210, some of the other shows they had on MTV, I can't name right now, but it it was a trend setter at that time with different shows coming up talking about just the life of a high school student, saying going into college or whatnot, and then just the different things that kids was going through, during that time period. And so, and you look at the shows today, I'm trying to think of a show right now that can compare to that type of show. It's kind of hard, but yeah, it was a trendsetter.
Okay. Mike, what are you saying about it?
Okay, Fiddy. I don't know if I ever watched one episode of that. And once I started recruiting, hitting the road, I really didn't watch sitcom TV after about 1990 or 92. So all I watched was like Sopranos stuff on HBO, Kirby Enthusiasm, shows like that, and movies. So Coach was the last sitcom I remember like wanting to watch. After that, the last 30 some years, I haven't watched any like network sitcom TV. So I can't really answer you, but I believe whatever you're saying, Fiddy.
Okay, no, that's perfectly fine. Before I go on to Dave, I will say Coach with Craig T. Nelson is definitely one of the more underrated shows ever. Anybody who's a sports
Oh yeah.
person or a football coach, I mean, that was so comical with those guys. I mean, very far fetched on certain things, but the Minnesota State team, it was hilarious. So, Dave, we're gonna go to you. What are you saying about Beverly Hills 90210? Was it trend setting?
Trend setting, yes, but I think in a bad way. I think what it started to do is to open up the door for TV shows to think that they had to push the envelope further and further and further. And so that to the point where you got the TV shows that were just, putting stuff out there for shock value. It was in the same era as Real World when they had Pedro Zamora on there and they had the whole AIDS conversation with him as a gay roommate on The Real World. And then it just seemed like every show had to one up the next one with how shock value it was. Now, that being said, RIP Shannon Doherty. She's a real one.
Yeah. Yeah, she just passed away, and so did the gentleman that played Dylan, which I'm
Jason Priestley.
no, Jason Priestley was somebody else. It was Luke
Perry.
Luke Perry, yeah. So but Rusty, what about you? Was 90210 trend setting?
It was trend setting. It's when you saw a lot of the push of a lot of social issues either way, and they kind of did it both sides. You had the teenage side of it with the 90210, which led to the older version and the spinoff of friggin' 90210, which was Melrose Place, which was, probably the coolest part of it was probably the guitar riff at the beginning of it. That was shit. That was it.
Whoa.
That was it.
Heather Locklear. Next.
Well, yeah, Heather Locklear was hot as shit. I think she did like 9 shows at one time throughout the span of the 80s and 90s. I mean, she was doing Dynasty and TJ Hooker at the same time in the 80s. I mean, she was banging Tommy Lee. I mean, it was cool.
Yeah.
All right, Alexander, what are you saying about Beverly Hills 90210?
Yeah, definitely think it was transcendent. Definitely think it paved the way for a lot of these shows to start speaking about those topics and to be more comfortable about it as well. So, yeah, it's definitely in the archives of being a historic television show.
Okay, Chris, I know you're a little bit young for it, but what are your thoughts?
So I had a class where we covered some of this stuff, and we talked about that a little bit. And I do think it was trend-setting because, like many of guests have said, it kind of opened the door to talk about some of these things in a way that hadn't necessarily been done at that point in time. But I think Dave and Alexander made a great point. Um, Obviously, I'm sure it wasn't the only show, but that seemed to be like the first pillar of, okay, now I think we could open it up and get a little crazy with things. And, over time, nothing stopped that. And that's why you get some of the craziness you have today. But for the time, yeah, I mean, that's, it caught people's attention, and that shock factor is, that kind of turns people on. You want to see whether it's a train wreck or you fall in love with it. So I think for being at that time, it was trendset.
Okay, okay. The next one, we'll have a little bit of fun with this. Let's see what everybody thinks. So, you just got to say the name of which one is better, Family Guy or The Simpsons. And I'm going to say Family Guy, Mister
Simpson.
Mike.
I'll say Simpsons, even though I only watched a few episodes of each. It was around that time frame when I was done with sitcom TV.
Okay, Dave.
South Park. Thanks.
I'm with you.
I knew that was coming from the show we did way back in the winter. So, Rusty, what about you? Simpsons or Family Guy?
The Simpsons.
Okay, Alexander.
So,
Man, so we explain, or we just got to say it.
You just got to say which one you think is better.
Okay. Well, man, I don't know. Probably Family Guy.
Okay, how about you, Chris?
Family Guy.
Okay, I would say they're both. And being the host, I can kind of go on a rant here. I think they're both unique in their own way. Simpsons has been on a long time. I think it's the longest running TV show of all time. We're very close to it, and the Family Guy. I mean, Seth MacFarlane has really done a fantastic job with that from 1998 or 99 till now for 25, 26 years. And the thing about Family Guy, I would say, is they hold no punches back. Everyone is fair game in that, whether it's stuff that's political, comical, making fun of historical figures, whatever it may be. But one thing I'll say too is they've had a lot of famous people do the voices on Family Guy. I mean, you had Adam West, you have Mila Kunis, you've had on Adam Carolla, you've had on Tom Brady, and the list can go on and on and on with Family Guy on that. So one of the next ones I wanna talk to you about is Law and Order. And one of the longest running TV shows as well. And they've had a couple spinoffs from there. And Law and Order SVU is still going strong after 27 years. So, Mister, are you a fan of Law and Order SVU?
Hey, man, which one of them got iced tea in it?
That's
If that one got iced tea in it, that's the one I'm with.
Okay. Okay. How about you, Mike?
Am I a fan of Law and Order?
Yeah.
No. But my mom, who passed away recently in Worcester, Ohio, she watched reruns of it when I was visiting all day, all morning, all day. On some channel carried the old reruns. She watched every day.
Okay. How about you, Dave?
I'm sorry, was this a question about overrated television shows?
So you're not a fan of Law and Order SVU?
So I'm a fan of Mariska Hargitay. Other than that, yeah.
Say her name again?
It's too episodic. Mariska Hargitay.
She has a great name. Great name.
Yeah.
How about you? Go ahead.
Oh, just far too episodic, far too yes, I can guess who the killer is in the first 4 minutes. It's like watching a pirate game. I know what's going to happen.
All right, what do you got, Rusty, about Law and Order SVU?
Yeah, it's when it was new, it was fresh, it was cool and was fun to watch, but it gets to the point where you're starting to repeat some of the stuff. It is kind of neat though how they will try and play off of current events and some big cases. They change a lot of it, obviously, but you know what the case is, you know what the plot is. So in that instance, it's okay. Like Mike said, my grandmother did the same thing. She always had it on all day long, and you wonder. And I would always joke and ask her, "How many of these did you solve yet?" And that was the running joke. But as it gets going on and on, these things keep going. The creativity tends to go into the tank.
Okay. How about you, Alexander?
It's good. It's good. They definitely got some good couple like good episodes where you sit down and you be like, okay, I didn't know it was going to turn out to be that way, because sometimes the beginning is just can be completely different from the end. But yeah, I think that it has a good spot where it's at, and its continuality and stuff. So yeah, I like it.
Okay. And Chris, round us out on this.
It's all right. If I catch it when it's on, I'll watch a little bit of it. It's not appointment viewing for me. I'm kind of intrigued by the whole, solving mystery crimes and whatnot. I do agree. Like Dave said, I feel like if you are accustomed to those a little bit, you could kind of have your finger on the pulse and solve it pretty early on. But I don't know. I'm just intrigued with solving crimes and whatnot. So that's where it gets me for, 10, 15 minutes at a pop, but nothing that was appointment viewing.
Okay. We had 2 topics left we're going to talk about. So a lot of us will remember this from the 80s. Chris, unfortunately, probably you won't, but you may know about it. So are you a fan of the cartoon G.I. Joe? And I'm pretty sure all of us have seen that at some point, and who doesn't love the intro and they scream "Go Joe" on it. So, Mister, we're gonna start with you on this. So did you like G.I. Joe when it was on?
Yeah, I did, man. I watched it, man. I did. I watched it, but I was always, what I'm saying, what was it? Was it Cobra?
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah, I was always wanting Cobra to kill everybody. So
Okay, Mike. How about you on that?
Did you say the 80s, G.I. Joe?
Yeah.
Wasn't that on in the 60s too?
I mean, it might have been,
I think so.
but I remember it from the 80s. So
Okay, I don't recollect seeing it that often. I was more of a Flintstones and Jetsons guy, but I'm sure it was good.
okay, the Jetsons throwback right there. Dave, what about you with G.I. Joe?
Yeah, so here's why I love G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was one of those cartoons that made it cool, and it didn't matter. They had white guys and black guys, and whoever even knew what Snake Eyes was underneath that mask. They had cool people. It was a little bit like watching the Chappelle Show, man. It was like everybody got down with it. So I don't think if you grew up in the '80s, everybody wanted that big aircraft carrier, the USS Flag, and none of us could afford it because we were all poor, and it was unbelievable. Absolutely 10 out of 10 recommend. I wish my kids had something like that to watch now instead of this How to Train Your whatever stuff.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
Rusty, how about you?
It was cool. It was cool. I mean, I kind of grew up mostly in the 70s. The 80s was where we launched onto other things, but yeah, it was cool.
Okay, Alexander?
Yeah, man. Cobra wasn't nothing to mess with. Like they was there. They was the real deal for G.I. Joe, man. So they had to bring their A game. So it was definitely a good cartoon back then.
Okay, and Chris?
This is the first question. I feel like you aged me out of Fiddy. I'm just not too familiar. I had G.I. Joe action figures growing up. Those were really cool. There is a spinoff of that show, but I'm just gonna blow hot air answering this one. I got no clue.
Okay, and the last question. You just have to say one word to describe this show, just one word. And it is, what is the best word to describe Jersey Shore? Now, I'm going to start this and I'm going to say Fatalian. And people might not know what Fatalian means, and it means fake Italians. They're Fatalians. So, Mister, we're gonna go to you. What's one word to describe Jersey Shore?
One word to describe. What was it? Jersey Shore?
Jersey Shore. Yep.
Jersey Shore. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable.
Okay. How about you, Mike?
Unspectacular.
Dave?
Italians.
Rusty?
Garbage.
Okay. Alexander?
Man, I forgot what I was going to say because that was funny. Dismissive.
Okay. And Chris?
Diabolical.
Diabolical. Okay. That was a good one. That was a good one to end this with. But we're not quite done yet. Everyone tuning into the show today, because we have Fiddy's 6-pack of questions coming up where each guest gets one random question from yours truly here. So we're going to start with you, mister. Okay.
All right.
Was John Elway a better quarterback than Ben Roethlisberger?
Yes.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Okay.
Freaking A.
Mike, we're going to go to you next. Mike, who's the greatest basketball coach of all time taking Red Auerbach out of the equation? Who is the greatest basketball coach of all time taking Red out of the equation?
Are you saying Red Auerbach was ahead of his time? Is that why he can't be considered?
Well, he has the most championships at that time with what he did. So who are you saying besides him?
Are you saying NBA, college, anything?
NBA.
Well, Phil Jackson's won the most titles, but
Going with Phil?
I mean, he coached the greatest players too. I don't know. There's a lot of good coaches out there. You know how I feel about this.
I know. That's why I wanted to throw it at you.
You know,
Dave,
Phil,
we're gonna go ahead, Mike.
Phil's
No,
won
go
the
ahead,
most
Mike.
titles. You're
Okay.
all about titles and championships, so I'll go with Phil for you.
Okay. I would say Pat Riley because he took 3 teams to the NBA Finals, but hey, who am I? I'm just the host of the Ride Home Rants show. All right, Dave, next question is for you. If you had to pick one drink for the rest of your life to drink and it was only that drink, what do you pick?
Beer.
Okay. Rusty, your question is, when is it appropriate for a man to strictly grow a mustache? How old should he be?
Oh my God. As soon as he can start growing it, grow it.
Okay. Alexander, which is a worse state to live in? Oklahoma or Arizona?
Well, I was just in Oklahoma with my dad for about 4 or 5 months. I was in Lawton, Oklahoma. It was pretty flat land, a small town. So I don't know too much about Arizona. I just know it's very hot. So go Arizona.
Okay. Chris, you're going to round us out on this one. How much money would you pay to watch me fight LeBron James in a boxing
1,000.
match?
Could I be
match.
like courtside? Yeah, I'd pay 1,000 for that. That'd be entertaining. How? Let me ask you, how long do you think that would last? Is that
For
Mike
him,
Tyson
about 30
fight right now?
seconds.
Okay.
So I
You know he's going to flop
don't
on you anyway.
like the phantom punch. Hey, you know what? As long as you get a win, that's all that matters. So,
Right.
But thank you guys so much for being a part of this roundtable. We had a lot of fun talking all things TV shows, going back, talking about MASH to Family Guy to what's the most overrated show of all time, and trend-setting shows like Jeopardy and Beverly Hills 90210. Dave, Alexander, Mr., Mike, Rusty, and Chris, thank you so much for being here today and bringing some laughs and some humor to this episode. As always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend and tell a friend. And if you didn't, tell them anyways, because I bet they like it just because you didn't. This is Fiddy signing off, and we will see you next week.
See you. Be good.
The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Dubby Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shankit Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rock it on and off of the course. Go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.